so true.
So Azizan gave me this interesting story where he said that the Blue Wave Hotel in Shah Alam was going to have an event, was going to host an event for MINDEF. And then for some reason, MINDEF said that they couldn't use the hotel because the hotel was not registered as a e-perolehan, on the e-perolehan system. So immediately the hotel, of course, got its act together and registered itself, and that's how it got government business. And I thought that was a very powerful example of how things are working now. It takes a long time for the system to get going, but once government shows its commitment that this is the way it's going to start wanting to do business with you, then of course the suppliers will have to follow. I think the cost of business has come down. So credit to our government for doing that and for persisting with that. So hopefully, Tan Sri Sidi, right, I think he's got a year left plus of his contract to go. You'll push that even further so that almost everything that the government procures, it goes through e-perolehan, so that, it's all transparent and people are bidding, based on cost, and they're not bidding based on relationship and, passing on variation orders after that and all that nasty stuff that should be from a bygone era anyway now. Okay. With that aside, let's move on to what are all those? There's only one guy who's bald there anyway, Aisha.
I think there's 3 guys that are balding.
Okay, I'm balding. Okay, one guy's bald, but these guys are basically just a picture of a Sony Ericsson booth at Barcelona during GSM Mobile World Congress, and I was there 3 weeks ago now. So it was quite interesting, very tiring, walking from the booths, to where the Congress proper was being held. And that's where all the action is, because you get a lot of thought leaders coming and sharing their opinions about what's going on in the mobile industry from A to Z. So really worth your time, if you want to go and attend the Congress, more so than the exhibition. You want to see the exhibition, you see Communication, I think is good enough. But anyway, I wrote a story about the CEO of Ericsson, Hans Vestberg, talking about his vision for the future. And it's interesting that Ericsson thinks by 2020, there will be 50 billion devices, connected to the internet. And this is basically M2M, right? Machine to machine. But even more interesting is that Huawei thinks that this will happen in 15 years. I mean, by 2015, which is an incredible explosion. Then we're going to see that many devices connected to the internet. But the other thing that Hans Vestberg said was that in the next 5 years, they're going to expect 4.6 billion mobile subscribers, out of which an incredible 3 billion, he thinks, are going to be on mobile broadband. So they're going to be using their mobile phones for connecting to the internet. So which is pretty phenomenal. Right now, there are about 600 billion broadband subscribers around the world. One thing I can say is the industry is extremely bullish about its future. They're even talking about how they can be a trigger, a transformation agent for society, moving forward and creating a better world. And like the CEO of Vodafone, Vittorio Colao, during his talk, he said that, this is a chance for the telco industry to take the lead in transforming society, because he says people need to be spending less, reducing their footprint on the environment, and also becoming much more efficient in the way they live and they work. And he thinks the mobile industry can be a huge enabler for that. And then coming back to the CEO of Sony Ericsson, Hans Vestberg said that the industry is really serious about reducing its carbon footprint, and they're actually now they already worked on it. A prototype is going to come out for a universal charger, which you can use for all mobile phones. So if you switch mobile phones, you don't need to use another charger, which looks like not a big thing.
So it'll be a cradle, is it, that you put in, or how?
I haven't seen the shape of it or whatever, but it's going to be just one mobile charger that can be used for any phone model. So it's just going to be huge, right? You can imagine, you're not needing any mobile phone vendors too then will not need to package in a charger in there. You can know pretty soon that everybody will have a charger. It's going to be huge.
Or what about just solar powered mobile phones?
Could be there are some already. Yeah, we in Malaysia will not have a problem, but for some countries around the world, they could. But it's a differentiator. It'll be a shock thing to have for some people.
Yeah, but
right?
you're talking about carbon footprint. So
it's coming. And interesting, you mentioned solar powered mobile phones. Because the CEO of Accenture's the global MD for Accenture, I only got his first name here, Jim, but he feels that the mobile phone has been the greatest invention of the modern age. Quite a lot of hyperbole you heard there, but it was really fun there. I'll be writing a few more articles about Barcelona and some of the things I heard there, and I'll share it with you guys. So, but we've come to the end of the show, and Aisha, you're right, we could only squeeze in two topics for discussion. We'll see you again next week. Have a great week ahead with technology. Cheers.